Yo, welcome back to the Wrestling Strength Podcast. As always, I am your host, Coach Myers, and I got a special Thanksgiving holiday edition of the Wrestling Strength Podcast today. And I got two special guests, and I'm not going to introduce them quite yet because I also have two sponsors of the show that we got to talk about and give some props to real quick. As always, we have our main sponsor, Max Effort Muscle, and because it is the Black Friday / Thanksgiving holiday weekend, we are running a tremendous sale at maxeffortmuscle.com. If you order any XL stack, you get a free fat burner. You can do the regular fat burner or the stem free fat burner, which is the one that I've been using because I can still drink my coffee and don't have to worry about the caffeine with that. So you get the free fat burner. You get two free mystery products. That could be any products that we're going to pick for you. You get a free mystery swag item. Could be a t-shirt, could be shorts, could be a hoodie, could be a hat, could be anything. You also get a free shaker. You get a free Max Effort flag. And we have $1,500 in cash in 50s. We're going to be putting random 50s in random orders all throughout the weekend. And we're giving away 10 golden tickets, which will allow you, if you get the golden ticket, to come to the Max Effort HQ, train with myself and Corey G here at the Old School Gym. It's an invite-only facility. The only way you can get in is with that golden ticket. So make sure you go to maxeffortmuscle.com this weekend. Put in that order for that XL stack. You get all that free swag. It's over $175 worth of value. Jump on that today. Don't wait because your favorite flavors might be gone. All right, and we also have our sponsor, Ice Barrel, here at the Wrestling Strength Podcast. Ice Barrel is a cold therapy training tool that makes it simple and easy to bring ice baths to your routine. Now, about 3 hours ago, I was in the Ice Barrel myself out there doing fire and ice at the edge of my property. I had a couple guys over. We would go 10 minutes in the sauna, right to 3 minutes in the ice. And it's cold out there today. Super, super cold. So cold that we were tracking water across the deck and it was instantly freezing. But we go from the ice back to the sauna for 20 or 25 minutes, back to the ice again. And we do that, 3 or 4 times. And let me tell you what, I just am on like Zen, even Steven the rest of the day. My inflammation levels are like non-existent now that I've been using Ice Barrel and using cold therapy. And I mean, I'm 43 years old. I'm banged up. I got tons of mileage on my body, but Ice Barrel has made a huge difference for me over this past year or so since I've been doing cold therapy on a regular basis. And I know that anyone that is listening right now, whether you're a wrestler, whether you're a coach, whether you're just a gym warrior, whatever you got going on, you can definitely benefit from having an Ice Barrel and being able to do cold therapy in the convenience of your home. It's durable, compact, portable, lightweight. I can even throw that thing over my shoulder and carry it around. It's made in the USA, actually made right here in Ohio out of 100% recycled ingredients. They have a 30-day money-back guarantee, and they also have financing available. Now, with its sleek design and compact footprint, Ice Barrel makes it easy to experience the benefits of cold therapy from the convenience of your home. Now, normally, they give my listeners, the listeners of the Wrestling Strength Podcast, $125 off if you go to icebarrel.com and use code GUTCHECK. But this is Black Friday. It's a holiday weekend. If you use code GUTCHECK200, that's going to save you not one, $200. And you get free shipping as well. So make sure you go to icebarrel.com this weekend for the Black Friday special. Use the code GUTCHECK200. You'll save $200. You'll get it delivered to your door. You can start enjoying it right away. Free shipping. Get colder. Feel better. Boom. Boom, boom, bang, bang.
You're amazing.
Killed it.
Listen, Reece, if you ever need me to, speak at an event, if you ever want me to just maybe like talk your kids into eating vegetables, doing their homework, whatever it is, I mean, I can pretty much convince them.
You just got it, huh? Okay.
Hey,
He's a walking billboard.
Some people are born with it. Some people develop it. It's just one of those things. So
some people pass it on to others.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So anyway, I want to introduce you guys real quick, my guests. You guys are probably familiar with these guys. One of them, of course, you've seen since Instagram was invented. You've seen me and this guy team up doing tons of content, tons of crazy stuff over the years. And he's also brought in his right-hand man to kind of, chop it up. So today, I got kind of a special, special topic I want us to go over. But I brought in Reece Humphrey and young CJ Brucki. What's up, fellas?
What's going on?
Man, the only thing that can make this podcast better is if we were doing it in person. I want to hang out with you guys so bad. Yeah. You guys also look like you're having so much fun.
I'm in. Let's get it on the books. That's next.
All right. So, Reece, I've had you on maybe once, maybe twice, maybe 100 times. And, we talk about wrestling, we talk about strength training, we talk about this, we talk about that. But the main reason I want to have you two on today is because I want to talk about, specifically for high school and college athletes, I want to give them some knowledge about how to build their personal brand, because both of you have done a tremendous job of that. And, whenever I think about, there's an old saying in, in business. It's like, hey, if you're self-employed, you got to have more than one hustle. You can't be a one-trick pony. And I think when I think of, social media, when I think of brand building, there's nobody that comes to mind more when I think of that saying than Reece Humphrey, because you got a million different things going on that you're always showcasing. So Reece, why don't you maybe kind of start us off and touch on that topic a little bit?
Yeah, man. First thing is do it. You got to do it. If you think something's cool, put a lot of time into it, get good at it, and just start somewhere, man. Everybody has these big dreams and these big, humongous goals, but nobody breaks them down and just knocks the first thing off the checklist. If you want to be an Olympic champ, you don't start by wrestling at the Olympics. You got to go through the middle school and you got to learn high crotch, learn the basic details of wrestling before you can move on to the bigger steps along the way towards that end goal. And I tried to do I have so many humongous goals that I tried a lot of them, but I accomplished probably 0 of them fully. I think I'm going to be a famous rapper. I thought I was going to be Olympic champ. I thought, this and that. And
hey, time out. The sun hasn't set on the famous rapper thing yet. Maybe Olympic champ.
Right. Hey,
that might stale, but the rapper, it ain't over yet.
Hey, no,
just getting started.
Didn't set for world champ either, and I crushed that shit. I thought that was over too.
Found a way.
Yeah, man. But do it, man. If you think something's cool, and don't try and accomplish other people's goals too. Be authentic. And we do these adult wrestling classes, and we talk about being an exaggerated version of you. And you have to be authentic to do that. But when we're running these classes, we are even more funny than we actually are. We're more energetic than we actually are. We're an exaggerated version of ourselves, but if you're a smart guy, you should say some smart shit. I don't know how to do this. But if you are a funny guy, be funny. If you're a nerd, be a master at that. There's so many different ways to be successful, and there's so many different niches and markets that you can target. And so be yourself, and that comes off the best. Be yourself, and then just start and go.
Well, there was a ton of gems you just dropped in there, but I don't think I've ever heard anyone, kind of put it that way, but it makes total sense. Be an exaggerated version of yourself. If I'm trying to be like super energetic, but I'm not an energetic person, it's going to come across as fake. You have to like take the character you already are and just kind of like inflate it a little bit. I think that's excellent advice.
I know. I'm awesome.
CJ,
you got to touch on that.
Yeah. No, I think you had a run there, and you touched on exactly what I was gonna say is the authenticism and staying true to yourself. People do recognize if you're trying too hard, if you're going in a direction that's not something that has been a part of you for a long time. But with that being said, people have a perception of what you are, what you should be. They try and put you in a box. So it's your job to kind of show them a little bit more and shed a little bit more light onto what makes you. For the longest time, I was a wrestler that was going to school. I was an athlete. And I wasn't sure when I first took that first jump into whether it would be coaching, whether it be music, whether, whatever the avenue was. I wasn't sure how the audience that knew me as a wrestler was going to take that. But ultimately, I knew that I wanted to pursue every avenue that I could while I was here. And that was something that was an interest of mine for a long time that I had kind of suppressed for too long. So, it's your job to shed the layers and introduce people to what is your passion outside of what they might, try and categorize you as. So
I think that's an excellent point, because I see that with a lot of, whether it's, high school athletes that I train, or even, some of the college guys or whatever. I know them on a personal level, so I get to see all these different sides of them. I get to see that they're funny. I get to see that they're hardworking. I get to see the way that they relate to their friends or their girlfriend or whatever. But when I look at social media, all I see is maybe a picture of them competing in a Bible verse, and like that doesn't show me anything, doesn't tell me anything about them. CJ,
100%.
I don't just know you as a college wrestler or as, a senior level wrestler. I get to see you rap and I see you dance. I see you do all these different things. That to me, whether I know you or not, is more interesting than just seeing this one dimensional athlete. So I think, you guys have kind of already said this, but look, I came prepared when I made a little list on paper here.
It's good.
One of my first bullet points is you got to figure out who you are. You're not just a coach. I'm not just a gym owner. You're not just an athlete. You got to figure out who you are as a person and then think, how can I show this to the world in a way that's interesting?
Yeah, social media is such a scary place, though, to put yourself out there in the beginning. I'm not scared to let anybody know because I just don't give a shit what people really think. I'm going to be me, and I'm confident, and I'm making good choices. And what I think is cool is, if they think it's cool, that's great. If they don't, then they can unfollow. Like, I really just don't care at this point. But yeah, people really do care what other people think, especially in the beginning when you only have 5 comments and, one of them's negative. You feel that, and I had a good high school buddy. He's 36 and he's crazy in shape. He's really fit. He's into all this fitness stuff, and he's just starting to post fitness content. And he texted me. We texted for like an hour last night about how much hate he was getting from the closest of friends. And I told him the story.
It's always the ones that are closest that want to hate on you.
They do. And I want to hear your guys' opinion on this, but I remember when we first started doing it, there was a ton of hate, a ton. And then, maybe a year later, maybe 2 years later, we started seeing everybody copy our stuff, and it started to become cool, and it started to become the way to build a following in the wrestling community, at least. And so I brought you up, and we could have easily folded to that hate. It was a lot of my best friends, and it was pretty hurtful stuff. And it's always like in a fun, joking manner, and they're making fun of you as friends, they think, but they're really roasting you, trying to get you to stop, is what I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like they feel embarrassed for you, but I think it's because they're too scared to do it themselves.
That's what I think. Yeah.
Or can't or won't. Yeah.
And I think so thinking back to the early days of Instagram, these are 2012, 2013, those when you and I mean, at this time, I don't even think when we first started, there might even been videos on Instagram yet. It might have just been pictures, and even then when it was videos, it was only 15-second clips at first. They were kind of copying Vine, this is when
Vine, there you go.
Vine was big. But yeah, we first started doing it, and we're like, man, we're doing so much cool shit down here. We just need to showcase it. Like, we can teach people some stuff and really just kind of show off the type of workouts we're doing. And it started catching fire. But yeah, you're right. I mean, there was always a lot of chatter around the room there at Ohio State, our buddies kind of hating on us. And I can remember this might have been like a year or two after, once we really started getting some traction. And, at this time now I started, kind of leveraging my following to actually make some money. I started releasing ebooks. And I mean, in that first, maybe even in the first year I had ebooks out, I think like my personal training salary, like I kind of matched that with my ebook sales, which was like crazy. I couldn't even believe this was possible. I'm selling ebooks all over the world. And I remember one time, I'm in there and I'm, training the whole team at Ohio State, and they're like, talking shit about one of the coaches or something, blah, blah. I was like, damn, I was like, what do you guys say about me when I'm not around? And they're like, oh, GUTCHECK, we love you. We wouldn't talk about it. I'm like, no, for real. I'm like, come on, Keyshawn, tell me, what do you guys say when I ain't here? They're like, well, I don't say this, but, a lot of guys, they make fun of like, the videos and like they, yo, what's up? You're always doing it, blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay. And then the guys kind of laughed or whatever. I sat there and I pulled up Shopify on my phone. I said, hey, how much money did you make when you were sleeping last night? They're like, what? I'm like, hey, I sold $250 of ebooks last night when I was asleep because of Instagram. And they were just like kind of shell shocked, because I mean, this is still kind of somewhat early in the social media game. And that was just my way to kind of like shut it up right there. Like, all right, if you want to make fun, go ahead. But, I've worked a lot harder for $250 before than just being able to post videos and make money while I'm sleeping. So.
Yeah. And in the beginning, you're not going to be that good at it for the most part. You're going to make a ton of mistakes. You are going to say some dumb stuff. For sure. And that's okay. Like, that's what people don't get. Like, we all see all these quotes about you got to fail to succeed. That's part of it, man. And it's just in front of everybody is the only difference, in front of all your friends, and they will roast you. But like, you just got to have a little bit of thick skin if you want to make it on social media. Well, just in life, really.
I think one of the biggest piece of advice I would give to athletes, especially like, all right, if you're in high school and you're starting to get recruited and like, hey, I'm going to be a D1 athlete. I'm going to have a lot of eyes on me. I need to start building my brand. You can't overthink posting. A lot of these young kids that I train, they post like once every 8 weeks, and they
Yeah.
put so much thought into it. I'm like, you're worried about what your friends in math class are going to say. Well, next year you're never going to talk to them again. You know what I mean? You're worried about what your neighbor thinks or whatever. Like, you can't overthink this post. I'm like, oh well, no, I just posted. I got to wait a week. You know, it's like, forget, just go with it.
What do you think, man? CJ, we're kind of talking to you.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah, we
It is tough, I
didn't
think.
we didn't tell you, CJ, but this is actually an intervention. It's not even a podcast. We're doing a social media intervention with you right now.
Hey, I'm all for it. I think, yeah, it's still difficult for myself to put consistency into it, whether it is music. I mean, I always, with the adult wrestling, we've kind of pushed the limits on the goofiness of our content. So at this point, it really shouldn't be a second thought into putting, consistent content out there and being worried about what people think about it, because at this point there's enough out there for them to know what they're getting, and to know that we really we don't care what they think. I guess the music, for one, is tough for me because I don't know. We haven't put enough music out there that I understand whether we're good or not. But that's, to your guys' point, it shouldn't matter, because at the beginning you should suck, and if they understand that, and if they want to hate on that, that's cool. But that's also part of the process, because the feedback that you're looking for is, you just have another outlet for that. So I started on TikTok. I'm starting to get more consistent on releasing some of the content there. Instagram's a little bit more difficult for me. That's the step that I want to make. But in reality, it shouldn't be, because you can share everything that you post to TikTok onto Instagram. And I guess diversifying my profile is the next step, because ultimately, if you really want to make it, it takes a lot of content, and it takes consistency. So, yeah, talk about just do it. That's the avenue I feel I need to push myself a little bit more, and take that hate on, right? You guys have been through the gauntlet. So, you guys understand that it's brighter on the other side, and you learn through that process. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's always worked out for us, one way or the other. And when it doesn't work, it feels really shitty sometimes, and then it goes away. It goes right away.
Yeah.
You can't make it. Now, I'm not trying to be, for real talk. I'm not trying to be a famous rapper, but I really enjoy the process, and I really like it when people bump the music, and when I get to bump it in the car, because I do feel it a little bit. When we're in the studio and we're making music, and you can't tell me I'm not a rock star. And so that feeling is worth everything to me. But you can't make it without trying. You can't make it without selling your first 250 ebooks. It changed your life. Doing yo, what's up? It's GUTCHECK.
Yo, what's up? It's Coach Myers. It's your boy.
Yeah.
We're still doing it for a living.
Right.
And you wouldn't have done that probably without some of those collabs that we did in early days.
No, I mean, really, when you think about anything, to get good at something, you need lots of reps,
Mm-hmm.
If you want to become a good wrestler, I mean, it takes, thousands of hours of practice before you master a high crotch or anything. You're going to be terrible at first. It's the same thing with making content. We had a lot of reps back in the day, and I'm sure if I go back and look at some of our old videos, like, the camera quality is terrible. It's not like today where you got to have someone, with the latest iPhone, they got to kind of circle and stay moving. You got to have captions. You got to really put some thought into the content. Now, back then, we would just like, we would take the, take the phone, lean it up against like a plyo box that got ringworm all over it, and like, all right, let's just go. Let's walk in our hands while Reece pulls the sled, and then just kind of see what happens. Put it out there.
We got to find one of those old ones that's real. The old Hydrus ad.
Oh, that won't.
Now, you guys can't even access some of the vines that you were making, right? You probably have the videos somewhere, but they deleted that.
I don't think we ever, even though that was at the time, I don't think we made vines. I think we were kind of like when Instagram was copying Vine, that's when we started making the Instagram videos, I think.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think we ever did Vine together. I got some Vines out there though.
Yeah.
Yeah. JB Burrows, I saw him yesterday, and he every time he sees me, one of the lines I did in the Vine was, "What's up, dog?" And he still says that to me every time he sees me. So Vine had his thing too. But
Vine was only 6 seconds, right?
6 seconds, yeah.
Did that really force you to like be creative in a, in a short span? Even I think too, back with and now it's kind of gone back to this because, if you want something to do well in Reels, it almost has to be a shorter form content. But, the original Instagram videos had to be 15 seconds.
Right.
So it was like you had to really put some thought into like, all right, how can we try to cram something in here that's going to keep interest or whatever. Now you can do long form stuff. You can swipe up from your story. You can do all those different things, but
there's still something about keeping their attention in the first 1 second too.
So here's a question for you guys. In terms of like creating that video, all right. So even in our live performance from the podcast with Anton, it took, I think I spent an hour just putting in captions throughout the entire minute or so video. So in terms of time management, because on top of, trying to make it as a famous rap star, trying to run adult wrestling, I have a full-time job. I'm a coach at TC&J. There's a lot of pins in the air that I'm juggling. When do you usually zone in and try and create that video, or like find the time to do that? So is that at night and then wait till the ideal time in the next day to post it, in terms of algorithm, or what?
Yeah, I mean, you got to kind of try to post at set times when it's going to get more views, whether it's early in the morning, late at night, when guys are going to be sitting around on their phones at 7, 8 o'clock or whatever. But as far as creating the content, I try to do it and get it done during the workday. So then that way I'm done with it. Now I'm going to mess with it, editing and stuff, like, because it does take time. Like you said, that one video that was a minute took you an hour to edit or whatever. So I try to get that stuff done during the day. Now, with you coaching and stuff, it might have to be like, hey, during my hour lunch break or whatever, that's when you're working on. So maybe you're at Whole Foods and you're eating and you're editing or whatever. But I would suggest too, see what technology you can find that's going to make it easier for you. Like I just download the captions app, so that way I can it makes it really easy to put, cool looking captions over the video, and it's pretty quick compared to what I was using before.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. So get familiar with different like video editing apps, find the ones that's the simplest and easiest for you to use. So just different things like that, try to, and then do what we call batch creating content. So if you make something for TikTok, make sure that you can also post it to Instagram. You can put it on Twitter. Maybe you have a horizontally cropped version of it that can go on YouTube, or you put it on YouTube Reels or whatever. So that one video can live in like 4 or 5 different places.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. They got YouTube Reels now.
All right. I guess YouTube Shorts is what it's called. I'm sorry, but it's basically Reels.
Okay.
I mean, the same thing.
Okay. Yeah. Got to be pumping those out, I think, every other day, especially even with, you see people that have content out there, whether, they're doing a workout. Reece, we talk about the technique every time we're in the room with the OGWC. We're trying to stay consistent with the skits. We got a lot planned. I don't think the writing takes nearly as long as maybe it would take to edit, like the edit I did with the video. We don't spend much time in terms of generating ideas for skits. I don't think that's the issue. There's no short.
That probably comes easy for you, and it's probably easy to knock it out. It's not like you got to do 1,000 takes to get your lines right, because you guys are just being authentic and being yourself, right?
Yeah.
No, so the hard part is in the back end. And then obviously, hopefully as you get further down the line, when you are a famous rapper, you have a content team that basically you just show up and perform, and they're doing the editing and everything else for you.
That would be ideal.
Yeah, that's ideal.
That's the hardest part. We're running these classes, and there's always funny stuff going on, but it kind of ruins the
flow of it.
If I got to pull my phone out, stop what I'm doing, give it to somebody, film me, it's just it kills it a little bit. So that's always a challenge for us too.
No, so I mean, luckily here, we have Kyle on staff, so he does the podcast for us. I don't have to edit this. He's going to have the clips ready for us to post and things like that. Yeah. And then I have him also, 1 day per week. He comes in. I'll pick a workout during, maybe I'm working out with Matt Brown, or I got Colin out here, I'm boxing with Braxton or whoever, and he'll come and he just shadows the workout, takes pictures, takes videos, chops some stuff up for me. So then that way I can concentrate on doing what I need to do. And I don't have, like you said, it does ruin the flow and the authenticity of things if I have to stop and say, hey, just say that again. Whatever you just said, we got to say that again. It just ruins.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something for you guys, maybe it's once a month, maybe it's once a week. You have a camera guy come to the adult wrestling class. Mm-hmm. And you already kind of preload some ideas into your head of hey, we'll make sure we do these skits today, and also just have them capture anything organic that happens.
Yeah, no doubt.
For going back to kind of our original topic, for the young athletes out there that are trying to build a brand, maybe this is when you find your friend, that on your team or whatever, that they're trying to be a content creator, and you say, hey, once a week, let's link up, and like you get to practice your camera skills and editing skills. I get to practice acting. You capture what I'm doing, and people really just want to see what you're already doing. They don't want to see as much kind of pre-scripted stuff. I mean, obviously the skits and stuff like that are funny, but they want to see how Reece Humphrey really operates when he's coaching. He wants to see how, you know, Reece and CJ really interact with each other. And that's way easier to capture if you just kind of have someone in the background shadowing you guys.
Yeah, no doubt. That's a must.
Yeah, able to be organic. And then you're also marketing the product as well. Like, what can you expect when you're in the room, right? It's building your own individual brand, but we're also in the process of building the OGWC's brand as well. So the more content, the better. Obviously, easier said than done, but there's a system we could definitely implement that makes things easier. You know, I think I envision the OGWC being a content page for just wrestling as well. You know, I don't know. Have you seen the viral videos of this old wrestler that's going around? He's jacked up. I think he's Russian or something like that, and he's actually competing. Gray hair, silver fox looking dude, and he's just tearing dudes apart. Have you seen any of these videos, Reece? Yeah. So either way, I think we would be a platform to repost content like that, or, you know, we'll do on this date in 1964, you know, the oldest woman swam across the Atlantic or something. I don't know, like just
anything for old people. Highlight.
Yeah. Yeah, different things that relate to old people doing cool shit. And you know, that would be probably where I see the page going, as well as information on the class. But
well, kind of the flip side to that is, and this is, you know, some good advice I got from my guy Dakota Mays, who's really built a big you know, yoga account on TikTok and on Instagram. He said, you know, anytime you're going to do something that's, you know, either like visually very interesting or just, you know, very informative or whatever, find these huge repost accounts that, you know, would be valuable for them to repost it, and just invite them as a collaborator.
Yeah.
And they'll either ignore it, or, you know, or they might just add you as a collab. So like for you guys, maybe, you know, say Reece, for example, you're always doing these crazy, you know, flips off a bridge. You do one of those, like, you know, humans are amazing IGs or whatever. And just, and when you post it, you don't even got to send them a message or anything, just add them as a collab and see what happens. So I've done that with a few bigger, like, I can't remember, like different like wrestling accounts that show just like a lot of wrestling highlights and stuff. And when I've done some kind of like cool training videos, I've added them as collab, and some of them have just instantly accepted and reposted to their 125,000 followers. Yeah, they're looking at you. You're making their job easier. So if it's good content, why wouldn't they do it?
Sick.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a good idea right there. You're smart.
You know, there's a concept or a term for the type of smart I am, and it's meat brain. And,
it's a meat brain, right?
Yeah.
You're not a meathead.
Nah, meat brain. So CJ, I can see some meat brainness in you as well.
We got a little, you know, people forget I got my master's, man. I got to put it to use at some point. Hopefully I didn't take too many double legs to the dome before I get some use out of that.
Yeah. So there's a good example. You know, you have your master's, so you're very schooled, very educated, but you're a meathead too. So that's what we call meat brain. You're smart. Wait, how do we define this, Reece? I forget. Yeah,
this is good. Webster's dictionary right now. We got to get it down.
Oh man, I don't know.
I just know when we text about it, the emoji is the brain and the steak. You know, that's meat brain.
Oh, that's good.
All right, so kind of going back to our original topic of, you know, young athletes building their social media brand. Look, I told you guys I was prepared, right?
I see that.
You see that, like, and you know, when I come with a piece of paper with chicken scratch on it, you know that I'm serious.
You're focused.
I'm focused. I put together 4 bullet points. I can maybe make a course about this. All right, athletes, if you want to build your social media brand, you have to, and I'll break down each one for you, and I want you guys to kind of give your take on it. You have to showcase, you have to educate, you have to inspire, and you have to relate. So you have to showcase what you're doing. You got to, because people aren't interested in just someone because they got a big butt or they got abs. I mean, maybe a little bit, but that's going to be fleeting because there's a million of those out there. You got to showcase. I mean, you know, but there's a million things for them to choose from. So you got to showcase what's unique about you, what you're doing on a daily basis. Then you need to educate. So, hey, if you're a wrestling coach, you need to teach some wrestling moves once in a while. You know, if you're a chef, you need to teach some recipes, you know, educate people that are watching. you also need to inspire. The fact that you are in a position to be teaching people and to be able to put yourself out there, there's going to be someone that's looking up to you. There's going to be someone that thinks, I want to be the next Reece Humphrey. I want to be the next Coach Myers, whatever. So you got to, be inspirational. Don't be negative when you're on social media. Don't argue with people on social media. Never argue with people in the comments. It's a lose-lose situation. Mm-hmm. And then you also need to relate. I think people are drawn to the human side of individual. That's why people love social media, because they get to see like, okay, Jordan Burroughs, this guy who's a legend. He's an Olympic champion. I follow him on social media. I get to see he's another human just like me. I can actually relate to him. So you got to make sure that you're relatable in your content and don't act like, I'm the strongest guy in the world. You guys, no one works as hard as me. That kind of vibe, I think, just doesn't really vibe with people at all. You got to find a way for people to be able to relate with you as a human.
Right. I mean, so you got to showcase and educate, inspire, and relate. And if you want to
differentiate,
build it up, build it down. I'm gonna get this shit around. Right?
Don't imitate. Don't imitate.
Be authentic.
Make sure you enunciate.
Enunciate. Oh my God.
Hey, listen. Tag me in. I can be the hype man in the back. You go to a rap concert. There's always one guy on the stage. It's just like, we enunciate.
Oh
yeah.
Make sure to showcase. I can be that guy for you guys. I'm telling you. We shoot the video in Vegas, like we've been talking about. I'm the guy in the back that jumps in and says a word every once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen you do that for the Wu-Tang Clan. I've seen you be backstage for a lot of actual bands doing that exact thing.
Dude,
you've been around.
It's the weirdest thing, and I think we talked about it one time. You and I were in Vegas for the Open or something. And we went to the club and like there was no tables left. And I hit up my dude, shout out to D. And I was like, D, there's no tables, blah, blah. He's like, I'll get you one, don't worry. And so we ended up in the elevated DJ booth. Our table was there. It was the DJ booth and a little like two-top table. It was me and you and our wives and Duran. Yeah. And we kind of looked at each other. We're like, how does this keep happening? We couldn't get a table. Now all of a sudden we're with the DJ, Yeah. And I even told my wife the other day, I was like, I don't even know if I want to go to a concert if I don't get to like be on stage with the band anymore. Like
it ruined it.
It just ruins it for you when you start getting access to stuff. So it's kind of weird how that stuff happens,
Yeah.
It's the mystery.
Oh, yeah.
That's the mystery.
Yeah, it's wild. I hate being right next to the DJ in every concert. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, so when we link up, gut check, what a checklist of all the items we definitely need to do. All right, we got to do a crazy workout.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do my best to stand on my head and push a sled 1,000 yards.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely got to do. All right, so music video. Whether that means we got to write a song for this occasion.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think even if we
come
up, Meat Brain. I think even if we come up with one verse, something I can just kind of like jump in real quick, I mean, I'm fine with being a background dancer or whatever, but yeah, we got to do some music content. Go ahead. What else?
Done. Well, let's see. What else will we put in there? Aside from content creation, maybe we do an in-person podcast. We got to do it. So we're sitting around. You got more chairs sitting around?
Yeah, we got a whole bunch of chairs over on that side of the room. The in-person ones are always better because
100%.
They definitely just end up turning into a natural conversation, whereas this still kind of feels like, all right, I got to interview these guys, But I think when you're in person, it really just turns into like some guys shooting the shit,
Yeah. That's the type of flow that you're definitely looking for, more conversation. I don't know. What would you add to that list?
Well, if you guys come here to Ohio, I mean, I'll definitely bring you over to my house and we're going to do some fire and ice, just like we talked about at the beginning, my little read for Ice Barrel. I want you guys to come experience it. I got this great redwood outdoors sauna. It's like the cedar barrel sauna. Gets super hot. It has a wood burner right in the middle of it. Gets up to like 240 degrees. So we do that. Yeah. It's
before you got on, I had to damn near wake Dustin up. He was slouched down in the chair.
Oh, he was perfect.
Man, right now you can't mess with.
It got him right. Okay, I'm into that.
Yeah. So other and like you said, we'll have to do some type of crazy workout. Maybe we'll take you to Ohio Stadium and run C-Deck. That's like Reece's favorite spot. But we'll definitely do some stuff that'll make good content, but also be a memorable experience for you.
Do you have I see a lot of the content that you create out in the woods, right? Is that on your land, like a compound you made from organic material per se?
You're talking about like with the like where I have like the wood piles and like the deck where my sauna is and stuff. Is that what you mean? Or
Yeah, for sure. I've also seen you just completely out in the woods looking like you're lost. Then you just start lifting
That
shit.
was probably at the old house.
no,
Oh,
so
you've
that,
moved since then.
yeah. So no, that's probably at the new house. So I have a couple acres and it backs up to like this nature preserve. It's all these hills and stuff. So that's either in there or sometimes I'll do stuff when I'm at my mom's house, Eastern Ohio, the property I grew up on. It's like, it's out in the middle of nowhere. It's I don't know, 75 or 80 acres. It's these huge hills. It looks like if you're from somewhere flat, it looks like mountains, So that could be the other place you might see it too. So basically either my house or my mom's house is probably where you see that. But we'll definitely do something savage if you guys come over to the house. We'll strip down to our fucking underwear and run through the woods with torches or something. Kill
That's
some
what we're
coyotes.
looking for right there.
Yeah, kill some coyotes with our bare hands or something.
There you go. Introduce savage to the concept. I don't know if your guys' boys hung out like that, had the
They
opportunity
were
to.
pretty young, but
Yeah, so yeah, they were little, man. When did you guys leave? Was it 2016?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so my kids would have been 6 and 4, which is probably your kids were 6 and 4 at the time.
Yeah.
And Reece and Jack were both the youngest, so they were 4. So they got to hang out. I think, Jack kind of vaguely remembers them. Mia definitely remembers them, but we'd go to the park, let them run around together and stuff. It'd be cool to get them back together now that they've gotten so much older.
Yeah, definitely. Got to do it. Put them in the ice.
That's good stuff. Ice bath.
Yeah. Jack hasn't got in the ice bath yet. He's put his feet in a couple times, but no further than that.
You gotta dunk 'em in there.
Matt said when he used to live out at Muscle Farm out in Denver, and his kids would have been young then, like 4 or 5, he would give them a cookie for every minute they'd stay in the ice.
Get hypothermia.
Yeah. I mean, how many minutes can you last in that thing? So how many cookies?
How many
Yeah.
cookies?
I mean, I don't think I could get more than 5. I think 5's enough for me. When it's super cold, when it's just cold water and the water is like 50 degrees, like it normally is in a cold tub, I mean, I kind of feel like I could stay in as long as I wanted to. But
Yeah.
when we have it like in the mid 30s, like I think 5 minutes is the longest I've stayed in, up to my neck, and you kind of feel like you're packed in ice from like here to here.
Yeah.
And
Have you done the cryotherapy?
No, I haven't. No.
Oh, so the full chamber is what I mean. I've seen people that do just the body and your head's like sticking out.
Right.
But the full body chamber, shout out to Thrive, right? Reece, you guys just got involved with them.
Yep.
That's insane. I think it's like negative 100 something degrees, and it just shocks your system. It's wild. I haven't done it in a long time, but it actually was pretty cool. But I don't know if that's any similar of a feeling. I haven't done the full submerged ice bath either, so we'll get it in.
Yeah, it's probably similar, but yeah, definitely. I mean, I think you guys make that road trip, we'll make all that stuff happen. But maybe before then, we all link up in Vegas. We do the music video. Reece, you and I have been talking about this for years. We get some type of mansion, Airbnb. We get our film crew out there, and we just film a rap video. I think it's time.
U.S. Open. Let's do it. April.
Okay, there we go.
I'm going to have to renege already. I can't do it. I'm going to Denver like in April, I think.
Oh, yeah. The whole entire month? Come on, man.
Denver ain't too far from there, though.
Yeah, I got a family wedding we got to go to out there, but I don't know. We'll circle back to that, I guess.
Yeah, okay.
All right. All right, you guys got anything you want to add? Anything you need to shout out? Any type of stuff like that? Tell everyone where they can find you at, follow you on Instagram, all that good stuff.
So for the OGWC, the Old Guy, Old Girl Wrestling Club, we
real quick too, Reece, go ahead and just kind of briefly explain what that is. I know you guys have mentioned it, but just for people that aren't familiar, explain what the OGWC is.
Yep. So we are adult wrestling class. It's 18 and up. We allow high school kids to come for the same price as one person if they bring their parent to train with. So that kind of relationship is hilarious all the time too. These little kids, not the little kids, but these high school kids just beat the shit out of their mom or dad when their mom or dad's only trying to help them. They're only there to help them.
The verbal abuse too.
They totally take advantage of it. But so you can have high school kids in there if they work out with their mom or dad. And it's awesome. You know, it's an avenue for wrestlers to continue wrestling after high school if you're not D1, D3, NCAA level moving on to college, you know. And even if you did do that after college, there's still no avenue to wrestle, and jiu-jitsu crushes this market. And so we think we can do the same thing for wrestling. And we've started doing it all over PA and New Jersey, and it's going really well. And like you say, in the entrepreneurial type of thing, there's ups and there's downs, and sometimes there's 40 people there, sometimes there's 6 in the beginning, you know, and now we're at a steady 20 to 25, and it's just so much fun. The energy and that high you get from doing these practices is none other. You know, I do 2-a-days with my senior level guys, and then we do this adult wrestling at night, and this is my favorite practice of the day. It's the most fun. We dance, we keep the mood light, we change the stigma of wrestling of being super aggressive to more fun and lighthearted and more of getting a sweat in, because I know I don't really want to get on the treadmill for 90 minutes, but I can roll all day. And so we're trying to change the attitude of wrestling to a little more lighthearted, and we're doing that. And we also created a video series to teach coaches, club coaches, anybody with wrestling experience, to run these type of practices at their gym. And that's going to be out December 13th on a website called Ocean that Jason Knopf started. And so it's like an instructional video, but very entertaining. CJ and I went out on the extra authentic versions of us.
Exaggerated
videos. But that'll be ready to go December 13th. That's when the website launches, and we'll be one of the first videos on there. So we're just trying to get this thing across the country because people need wrestling. Man, the world is soft. Everybody could use a little bit of wrestling in their life, and there's no reason you can't start when you're 25, 35, 45, 50. You feel me?
Yeah, just to add, we're in the process of booking both our spring and summer tour. So if you have an interest, if you have a gym that you know, we've been currently just doing it out of, you know, jiu-jitsu gyms that have space available. If you have a gym, and this summer especially, we're going to be looking to go anywhere in the country. So if you have a big opportunity or you want to have us out, hit us up. We're at least going to explore see if we can't make it work and grow this thing across the country. International. Let's go across the world with this thing.
Yeah, I got a lot of connections overseas too. So we're doing it. The idea is a home run. It's just got to be legitimate. Right now, it's seems like a myth. People don't know where it is, when it is, if it's a real thing. But it's starting to become more of a real thing to the general public, and the response we get is off the charts, A+, you know. So we just got to keep growing it.
I think it's an excellent idea, guys. I mean, you think of how big that demographic is of, you know, guys 25 to 45 or 25 to 50 or whatever that, you know, had some wrestling experience, and now you know, in the past they would have looked to like, man, I want to kind of get back into grappling, and so they end up going and trying jiu-jitsu for the first time, and they're essentially starting over. Now you can have these guys that were high school or maybe even college wrestlers. They can get back into the sport that they loved, and like you said, kind of do it at a more lighthearted pace. There's not the pressure competing. They're not cutting weight, and they're not doing this. They're just really doing it for the workout and for the love of it. So I think it's an excellent idea, and I'm surprised no one thought of it before you guys.
Yeah, maybe they did, but they're not doers.
they ain't doers, right?
They were too scared. They overthought it, and they didn't take that step.
Never happened. Now we're doing it. The world's about to be a better place.
Love
Bam.
it. All right, guys. Well, if you're listening, make sure you give Reece and CJ a follow on Instagram. You know, kind of, you know, follow along with all their crazy adventures and what they got going on with the Adult Wrestling Club. And I appreciate you guys coming on, and I can't wait to do it again, guys.
Always good to talk to you.
Appreciate you. Thanks, Gut Check. Talk soon, brother.
Peace.